Invitational. Maryville takes on number 6 UC Irvine here at Robb Gymnasium on the campus of UC Santa Barbara. Pleasure to have you with us. Now we have a lot of fun this weekend and we're looking to keep things rolling today. Here with Spence, I'm Max Kelton, and this Gaucho team will play later this afternoon. UC Irvine looks to keep things rolling, start 3-0 this season. Maryville on the other end in search of its first win, not just of the year, but against any top 10 opponent. So Maryville has looked good this weekend. What have you seen out of this group opening up their 2026 season?
I think it's just fun to see them play with some freedom, some flow, some creativity. Not the biggest team, but man, they are creative at the net. They love to play free. And so I really like to see that. Just hearing from the other coaches, the other players around, Maryville is no slouch. They've got some really good players. Their setter, to name a few, super creative. I know we talked about that kind of before we got on. So that's what I see from Maryville right now.
Spencer Frederick used to play volleyball here at UC Santa Barbara, here at Robb Gymnasium, so you know it well and you understand that honor last year.
That's right. They are coming back fierce than ever. Darcy for them, right? He was such a pivotal person for them. So I'm curious to see how they shape up today. The fun thing about these invitationals, right away, you might see some new faces today, maybe giving some guys some rest, maybe looking to see who's going to be on that travel squad, who's going to stand up to the call kind of later in the season.
Well, that's, I think, what's most interesting about this point in the year, because you got a guy that you mentioned, like William Darcy. He was an AVCA honorable mention honor last year, and typically, middle of the season, he's an everyday starter. Today, looks like he's coming off the bench.
That's right. Look for him to maybe get in to serve, maybe be a blocking sub, but look to see, as we're looking at the last day here, looking to see some freshmen, some young guys on the court right now, see how they do.
Well, it's a good opportunity, Spence, for David Niffen to find what rotations work. You look at early in the season, everybody's healthy. It's an opportunity to see who clicks with who. And on the other end, as you roll through the season, hit mid-season and then late season slates, you don't know who will be healthy at that point of the year, so you still have to find your foundation early on. And a guy like Aiden Rigg, who didn't play yesterday, he gets the start at setter today, the redshirt sophomore. We'll also see Cameron Costi back into the lineup for UC Irvine. As for Maryville, this is a team that has played larger than expected this weekend.
Absolutely.
There is so much talent on this roster. What Mike Haston has done in his 5 seasons with Maryville, he has built this roster up into a formidable foe.
It's really good. The coaching staff has done their due diligence with this team. I think, obviously, as they're tabbed to be second in their conference, the Great Lakes Conference that just started up their inaugural season this year. They got tabbed to be coming in second. Look for them to kind of take this road trip as a really good test, as a really good indicator for what they can do later on.
Top to bottom, there is talent across this roster, and yesterday, Makai Zioki was one of those players that came off the bench but really made a staple in the matchup against CSUN. And, you know, better yet, I should say, against UC Santa Barbara. But you look at how this Maryville team is run, and they match up well against UC Irvine. 6th-ranked UCI and Maryville to kick off day 3 of the A6 Invitational. Here's Micah Goss. Laced it long, and Maryville has a lead early on.
That's right. Look to see a lot of aggressive serving coming out the gate. Men's volleyball is a little bit different than the women's side, so be prepared for that.
It's a difference of pace, and certainly an opportunity for you and I to adjust, having captured the women's side over the last few months. That's swung to the outside. Jokanovic bounces one home. He hit the hands, found the floor, and he'll be high volume this afternoon.
That's right. Look for Jaden Rookhausen. I love his play. A little bit on the shorter side, but he's a cagey guy. Really good technically.
Rookhausen wears number 7 in red this afternoon. Jake Usher bumps it to the corner, unable to place it fair. That was Aiden White Mountain, who was a little too tight to the net right near that antenna. It's a tough swing.
It is. White Mountain just trying to get that ball over, trying to hit that four corner on the other side. Just couldn't get there. Ends up on the same side.
Back out to White Mountain. He laced it down, picked up well, and the free ball makes its way. Jake Usher goes opposite way. Rookhausen tools it out off the body of Maryville.
Yeah, Rookhausen trying to get the tool, just kind of clips his head on the way back. But a great block set up by UC Irvine.
Cameron Costi, the redshirt freshman, was able to book that ball, got his hands on it. Now this swing too long from Aiden Rigg. Back to it. Here's Aiden White Mountain. Screamer handled by Aiken. That is a crush to the center. Deep seam from Jokanovic.
Great set by Aiden Rigg there. Holding the middle as long as he could to set the back set. You see that one-on-one matchup.
Guy like Jokanovic, prime time in this super young UC Irvine roster. He rolls it over, handled well by Clark. Back out to Makai Scott. First we've seen of him today. He had high volume yesterday against UC Santa Barbara. They just did a nice job on the defensive side.
That's right. Look for UC Irvine to kind of try to capitalize on some things here. But Maryville, they're playing right there right now.
Tristan Bembo got it over. Into the center, and
Woo!
Trevor Clark smashes one home. All the athleticism and more for UCI early. Well, you mentioned UC Irvine should capitalize on something. What is that in your mind?
Yeah, UC Irvine, I think right now, as the game is going, you're going to see maybe some slighter tendencies from Maryville to just kind of put this ball in on the service line. Look for them to capitalize with their middle play.
Trying to initiate the middles early, and Maryville does just that on the defensive side. It's blocked right back, but a net violation, and UC Irvine bailed out by the whistle. That was Rookhausen. Got the twine. You see the block, though, certainly impressive for Maryville early on. They're ready to play a physical brand.
Yeah, you talked about, as we see the overcall on Usher, Maryville's been really good so far on the blocking. Really impressed so far. You're staying with the Bic. It's a quick one, so.
Usher dots it to the center. A.J. Robitou earns the kill for Maryville, and with that, a side out.
That's
it is a team, Spence, that it's their first year in the Great Lakes Valley Conference. They were picked to finish second. They had a great season last year, and they're starting out this 2026 with 3 straight ranked opponents. It's a tough way to start. Back to the opposite end, and the best goes to Cameron Costi.
Yeah, Maryville, Ray, you got to give your tip hat to the coaching staff of being like, hey, I think we can hang with these guys. Definitely proving themselves out here.
Cameron Costi. Screamer handled by Zach Clark. Robitou converts.
And a great pass by Clark there. Been very impressed with Maryville's passing so far. Been able to give their setter, Jake Usher, some really good time out there. Make a good decision.
Usher, the redshirt sophomore, played behind each of the couple of starters over the last few years, and they expect him to take over the program. That was the expectation from the get-go, that he was the future. You look at White Mountain, unable to turn the hands fair. It's smashed out. Back out to Andon Kiriakou. Kiriakou rolls it over. Rookhausen soars in just a touch long. And remember, this weekend, no replay review. So how does that change up the coaching styles?
You know, I think for men's volleyball, replay is just kind of still new for a lot of people. So I don't think it should affect too much. That you might see more coaches trying to fight for their point a little bit more. But shouldn't affect them too much.
Number 5 in the nation last year, had a 21-7 record to culminate the season, and it's a different brand of volleyball on the West Coast. Spencer Frederick and I were talking about it beforehand. Spence, you know, you played on this side of the country, and it just has a different feel than how these Midwest teams are accustomed to playing. What does that mean for you, this different brand?
I think the different brand, all it is saying is that the West Coast has just been more developed right now. Midwest, you see it a lot. We just saw Lower Chicago upset, you could say, take out Hawaii. But you're seeing it more, a little bit more now. The Midwest is slowly getting there. I would say some of it has arrived. You see hubs like Chicago, Missouri even, of getting the brand of volleyball where it's getting the technical side now. You're not just seeing big guys for the sake of being big.
Well, I'm also interested in the way that you put it when we were off air. You said it's a good opportunity for Maryville not to just start out their season playing 3 ranked opponents, but to also learn how this volleyball can be played and then incorporate that into their game.
Yes, I think with the way UC Irvine plays, CSUN, UC Santa Barbara, the Big West, MPSF, there's a lot of creativity when it comes to what's happening up at the net. Not just kills with hard swings. You're seeing it with the swipe. You're seeing it with jousting. You're seeing it with roll shots, tips. Guys are getting more creative on setting the ball on the first contact, not just the second one. It doesn't have to be the setter. I think you see that a lot more on the West Coast. It's getting there. In the Midwest, it's getting there. You see it even on the East Coast, too, where you got staples like Harvard and Penn State. So it's coming together, and so as a result of all those athletes having played in the West, on the West Coast, you see these athletes now transitioning into whether it's professional playing or coaching now, they get a chance to now bring that expertise, bring that knowledge to the game.
And as the game continues to grow, there are also more teams added, and I think that's just such a luxury at this point. For so long, the community was much smaller as Jake Usher hits White Mountain on the outside, tries to place to the corner, unable to do so. Opposite end for Jokanovic. She slices it home. UC Irvine has applied some early service pressure. And you look at how it's difficult to move pin to pin defensively when the ball is placed like that by Aiden Rigg, the setter. Makai Scott dumped it over. Usher. Just felt like a more discombobulated effort.
That's right. Saw a lot of tips, a lot of jump balls. The big thing right now for Maryville is they to limit their errors. A lot of unforced errors right now on the side.
Yeah, they were unable to kick it into system as UC Irvine sends one long. You know, aside from the service errors, which UC Irvine has now pieced 4 together, the Anteaters have been perfect offensively, or near perfect, better yet, 11 of 15 with no errors. They're just having their way, and they're running a clean attack at this point.
That's right, and that's what you want to see. Good distribution right now from their setting core.
You know, one thing that I've really learned about this weekend is how there are levels to this game, and the different regions develop different styles of volleyball. And, you know, lucky for me, I've been around West Coast volleyball my whole career, well, I'm calling it, and through my early days. So this is the only brand I know. For the Big West, as a conference, having 6 teams, all 6 ranked to open up the season, it gives you an idea of how good these programs really are and how they've just run through this A6 Invitational early on in 2026.
It's a dogfight. It's going to be a dogfight until the very end. There's only so many at-large bids, and with all 6 teams in the Big West being nationally ranked, presumably going to be nationally ranked for a while.
Yeah.
As we see a monster kill by Makai Scott there. It's going to be a continuous battle to not only face tough opponents, but also make sure you're doing your job against those opponents you're quote-unquote slated to beat.
And Another kill this time by Kiriakou, as he seems to be as effective as ever on the outside. He doesn't have nearly the same size as some of the guys like William Darcy, for the moment. You know, or Micah Tomas for that matter.
That's
but
right.
Kiriakou is just as effective as we have a timeout here for Maryville. Why don't we stay right here? I'd like to talk a little bit more about why he has had his way early on despite the lack of size advantage. What do you think makes him one of the more effective players on the floor and a staple for this UC Irvine team?
I think he understands what he has to do. He understands his role really well. I think when you're an undersized pin hitter, it's up to you to become more creative, become more crafty. What does that look like? Well, he knows he's going to be up against those 6'7", 6'10", 7 feet tall middle blockers, opposites, pin blockers. So looking for any tendency that they're off their game, whether it's they don't seal well across the net, whether they're late. We just saw Aiden Rigg with a great against the flow set. He's coming all the way across, and being able to set him gets that one-on-one opportunity where that middle's coming in late, and so he's able to terminate on that ball. And so I think Kiriakou, he knows what he has to do in that front.
Well, and Aiden Rigg, he has been really sharp running this offense today. He has put the ball on the money. Very few, if any, setting errors. And, you know, I'm focused on how comfortable the players are around him. We saw Aiden Schulten run the offense for UC Irvine last night. It looked smooth, but Aiden Rigg has found something with this group, no doubt about it.
That's right. And I'll look for Cameron Costi. I know he was in for a little bit, so kind of a deceptive 6'2", one might say.
White Mountain handles the serve receive into the center for Robotu. Somehow it pinballs over and snuck on home.
Jake Usher there. I love when setters set their middles despite it not being a perfect pass. He was able to set that ball 8 feet off the line. UCI wasn't there, happened so to get a little touch and come over.
Yeah, sometimes
Unlucky
luck
there.
has to be on your side,
That's right.
And Jake Usher does that so well. He's highly creative. Hits Makai Scott outside. That's dug up from Aiken. Then Zach Clark does him one better. Makai Scott sets it out of system. And here come the Anteaters moving well for Darcy. Woo!
And that 2-to-2 action for Darcy. But that's what I mean. We see Kiriakou being able to hit that ball in that second contact. Kind of throws Maryville off rhythm a little bit. Able to get Darcy on the return there on a solo kill. Sorry, solo block with the kill.
I feel that's a fair point, you know, and Darcy able to pull that he has been effective through this tournament. That just caught the line. White Mountain soared in for the Bic. Nailed it to the back row.
And that's what we're going to need to see from Maryville. They need to incorporate their middles. They need to incorporate their middle back row attack on the Bic. UC Irvine not expecting that one.
Picked up well. Zach Clark chased it down. Walk me through what you saw.
And there we see again, he's probably going to be debating if he was on the net. It looked like that ball kind of got pushed in.
Well, all the defense in the world to keep that play alive.
As we get the replay, you see Kiriakou getting that opportunity, that option to hit. But that's what you're seeing more nowadays in the men's game, even in the women's game, that option set. Little barrel there. Shane Aiken there, able to give Kiriakou there an ability to go attack that ball.
He's back to serve, and Kiriakou. Rookhausen. Too long.
Maryville, if they want a chance still in this set, they've got to shore up the errors. It's always hard, though, when you're in a funk. You get down early, and that lead just extends.
Well, it helps when you get one of the better servers off the service line. Now to go into a run here, what does Maryville have to do well?
Right now, down by 10, biggest thing is getting that serve in.
Robitou does just that. Back to the middle for Gus, and he earns the side out.
That's a huge part of it. Knowing the metrics you can look at, especially in the men's game, that's why you see much more aggressive serving, is when you serve aggressively, you're able to get that ace. It turns the momentum.
We've talked about a couple of different setters for UC Irvine through this tournament. Now Micah Tomas in to run this offense for the Anteaters. Trevor Clark can't steer it straight.
Great aggressive play by Aiden White Mountain. Not settling with just getting the ball over, but making sure he attacks. And you never know.
So White Mountain earned his second kill of the afternoon. Back for Darcy.
You see a net by Darcy there. Just a little bit of an inside set. Couldn't really get in there. Thankfully, everyone safe underneath.
Usher on a screamer, handled by Kyaku. Jokanovic. Micah Scott to the corner, but long. Makai Scott. It looks like Jeff First says he's the line judge here. He initially threw the flag up. Rick Olmstead, R1, gives the point to Maryville. What'd you see?
I definitely saw it in. UC Irvine, not expecting that big. Maryville has got to go back into that. They're getting the looks that they want.
Makai Scott hit negative yesterday against UC Santa Barbara. But he's been effective this afternoon. And you look at Tristan Benbow getting in on the action.
Haven't heard his name much. Glad to see him get some love from the setter. As we see Aiden Rigg, Cameron Costi come back in the game. Look for Costi to get some sets well when he's back row.
Set point it remains for UC Irvine. Maryville putting up a fight in the first set. White Mountain just rolled over the tape. Zach Clark pops it up. Makai Scott on a yellow light cut. And Clark finishes the...
Maybe even relax them a little bit, because so many times you see them go into almost midway into the season, into league, into conference play, no sets dropped, no losses. Early losses like this, especially against a tough ranked opponent like Loyola Chicago, doing a fantastic job, Coach Shane out there. I think it might relax them a little bit more.
Yeah, and I think that's the expectation for Irvine and Coach David Niffen and what they've built down in Orange County, you know, what they're capable of, because the perception is that Irvine is not that far off from the other couple of top teams in the Big West. And they're on the brink. If, you know, the lead is to hold today, they have a chance to roll through their first weekend without losing a set as well. You know, there's such talent on this Irvine team. It starts with size, but they utilize it in a way that is different from anywhere else in the country.
That's right. They are. It's almost so common now for them to have these 7-footers at the middle, but not just 7-footers, but 7-footers that are mobile, agile, able to read the fast sets, the fast tempo go balls. It's incredible what Niffen's been able to do.
Yeah, and you look at how Maryville has had to try and overcompensate for it. They know the block is there. They're punching high over their belt. And, of course, they're trying to do so much to get past this block that those balls are sailing long. That said, Irvine has given a couple of chances back. Not a lot of attacking errors, but 8 errors from the service line already today, and we're only early on in the second set.
And look to see that more. It's not going to go away. But also Irvine, as that ball just misses the back line there. Good aggressive serve there. UC Irvine is messing with their lineups just a little bit here. Seeing some new faces as we see Micah Goss check back in for the Anteaters.
Along with Trevor Clark, who lets this one go. Usher to the center, and Robitou converts.
And Irvine able to get, Irvine was able to get 3 hands up. Micah Goss there just a little bit late with that left hand, but great kill by AJ.
Well, AJ Robitou has been effective as Maryville has tried to engage its middles early on in this one. White Mountain winds up and fires, no dice. That stays alive for the moment. Anteaters. Mackay Scott had a yellow light swing, just still couldn't get it over.
I know he wants that one back. Trying to maybe do a little bit too much, just placing it right over the net. Sometimes just got to go for it.
Yeah, the goal on those out-of-system efforts, just keep the ball in, give your defense a shot. Now, it's Cameron Costi. Look at that misdirection from Usher. Then he swings free where it's poked through. Now Usher dots it opposite side. Blocked by Trevor Clark to the corner. Bit long, double contact from this Maryville side.
We saw earlier in that rally, Usher trying to do a little bit too much hang time there. I know coaches are always telling their players, take the step back and then go into it. If you see that ball right at the net, we don't want to ever jump and lean back on it.
And Mike Haston mentioned that. He said, you know, man, Jake is so creative in what he's capable of doing. Sometimes he forgets to do the simple stuff.
Right.
And that's simple from Aiden Rigg. He smashed it all the way across, spun it off the fingers, and pulled it out opposite end.
And a great set by Shane Aiken there. He's a libero, but he still got it off the great tempo. That's what you also see the evolution of. Look to see libero setting the middles even in transition.
Out of system should look like in system in perfect volleyball. Mackay Scott just a bit outside.
And that's what you want to see, though. I'd love to see Mackay Scott be more aggressive from back there. Keep calling his number. Keep calling it for himself.
UC Irvine with 4 straight points. Cameron Costi. Too much on it.
I think Maryville escapes maybe having to call a timeout there early on.
Yeah. Doesn't have to utilize the timeout. Gets that side out. Gets AJ Robitou to the line. Oh, just over the top. That drops home.
So crafty there.
Yep.
You almost think, oh, it's going to be a roll shot. No, just going to drop it right off. That's always tough for an opposite or a setter back row to get that ball.
And Rigg a setter, but, you know, so is Cameron Costi. So having 2 of them on the floor at the same time gives you a little bit more creativity and versatility.
That's right, especially in long rallies, especially when you may be catching a team sleeping, having that versatility to say who's going to be setting. If they do get caught slipping, then you're saying, oh, why is the setter up hitting? Oh, it's because there's another one right there.
Yeah, Maryville couldn't hold off on that timeout for long. They're going to a break, trailing 5 in the second set after right now playing near perfect offense. 20 kills on 34 chances with just 1 error.
1 error. That's the tail of the tape right now. Maryville having 6 errors in the first set, 4 already in this second set. We talked about it in the first set. They've got to shore up errors. Right now, even in the service line, we see UC Irvine coming away with at least 1 ace. I know it doesn't show it, but a lot of overpasses by Maryville that kind of count as those aces as well.
It's a fair way to think about it. The serve receive just hasn't been there. Out of the break, trying to get Ezra Moppet involved. Now back to White Mountain, who has to wait for it. Diving stab from Aiken. And that makes its way through. Soaring in, Makai Scott sticks the line.
And there we see, again, Makai Scott getting that big. Thankfully, Jake Usher gave his middle some love in that beginning time. We see Micah Goss just not being able to read that super well. Makai Scott with the kill in transition.
Yeah, that big has worked for him. We'll see if they can continue to utilize it, earn something out of it. Jokanovic can't finish with Scott there. You look at Zioki trying to do too much. Just keep that ball in play. It was, what, second touch?
Second touch, and not a bad idea by Zioki. Just would like to see him not overthink it so much. Just place it over. He had the open net right there. He could have dumped it straight down.
Well, here's Micah Goss, the sophomore, Santa Barbara native. Overpass earns UC Irvine on the move. Punched through by Aiden Rigg.
And once again, Irvine giving their pin hitters that option. Jokanovic not necessarily ready for that one.
Goss again. Tried to attack deep seam. Went a little long.
That's what you see more of today's game as well. Micah Goss, it looks almost like a jump serve, but it comes out flat. It's trying to be more of a hybrid serve.
And trying to work that into their arsenal. UC Irvine has been relentless from the service line all day long. Ball makes its way through. Tight at the net, Rigg. He recycles back over. Rigg again. He's denied. Rigg keeps it alive. Kiriakou pumps it through. Zioki blocked at the net, but he snuck it home.
Jokanovic going a little bit too straight up. If he had just sealed a little bit more.
Boy, it looked tight, and he just snuck it through. A couple of big bodies between Jokanovic and Trevor Clark. It's not easy to punch a ball between those two big men.
No, it is not. So kudos to Maryville. Also keep tabs on what's happening on UC Irvine's side. They're switching things up. Like we had talked about before the break, Aiden Rigg was just a minute ago setting front row, giving Costi that opportunity to hit the D-ball. So Maryville's definitely had their hands full.
That brings in Peter Sochevka for the first time today. Sochevka, the junior outside hitter out of London. Not too much on it. Irvine with the side out. Back to Jokanovic. You know, despite him going into the net there for a service error, you get a feeling with this young man, so young, in fact. A freshman who has just burst onto the scene. He has the chance to be something special.
He does. I love the way he plays. I love his jump serve. The ball's high. He's long, athletic.
Jokanovic.
As you see him coming for the big.
Now Makai Scott punched down the line, and he converts. Maryville within 3.
Now we're seeing some smiling faces from Maryville. It's got to feel good. Decrease that lead.
Yeah, got to remember to have fun out here, too. You know, playing the number 6 team in the nation right now, and UC Irvine has been sharp, right? Maryville's hanging tight. They're not running away. The Anteaters not running away with this one. A couple more balls roll your way, and this Maryville team is right back in it.
That's right. As you see, Ethan Tran coming on from Maryville. Look for Usher now to swing from that opposite position. Trevor Clark with the misserve into the net. Rushed himself just a little bit too much. Yeah. I know he's on himself right now about that one.
Yeah, you watch Trevor Clark throughout the match. He's very well aware of his own mistakes.
Yes.
Yeah. Micah Goss. Oh, he extended for that one. Mackay Scott popped it up for White Mountain. Deep seam handled by Jokanovic. To Costi, no dice through Zach Clark. He couldn't keep it straight. William Darcy checks back in along with Aiden Schulten. Both fourth years with the Anteaters. And, you know, we talked about through the start of the show how matches through the first week or two, you might not see the full rotation, what it would look like in the mid-season. But both those players expected to have a very prominent role this year for the Anteaters, despite coming off the bench today.
That's right. Regardless of them coming on the bench, I'm sure we'll see them later on in the year. But a great time for teams like UC Irvine, like CSUN, like Harvard and UC Santa Barbara to get a feel for the roster, see who's making that travel squad, who can be a solid backup, or who can be in there when games are getting close, as a serving specialist as well.
You know, it's fascinating that you bring that up. So, you know, a point like this, it's just the first week of the season, but the way that you're putting it, a lot of these guys are playing for their jobs right now.
That's right, they are. For some of these players, this is a make or break sort of event, sort of tournament. I know I've had my fair share of these invitationals.
Yeah.
And so you never want to overthink it, but also you want to play well.
It's a net violation where Maryville earns the point. You know, more to that, Spence, for guys who have been in the rotation for a few years, it's important to start off. But for guys who are coming off the bench and still defining their role, it's even more important to get off on the right foot, as their whole season could be defined by a weekend or two in early January.
That's right. I think a big thing, especially for the young guys, freshmen, even guys, juniors and seniors that haven't had a prominent starting role or been in situations like this, is not to overdo it. A lot of times players want to tell their coaches, I'm the guy.
Yeah.
That's not what they're asking for you to do. They're asking you to play volleyball as a team and win as a team. It's not about me necessarily.
Oh,
as we see a great ace.
That's an absolute laser beam from Micah Goss, who has certainly earned his spot at that.
With that hybrid serve, as we see, as Maryville takes a timeout. But that's what you want to see from a freshman like that.
Yeah.
Being aggressive from the service line, pumping his guys up. We want to see that team camaraderie there.
UC Irvine clicking here in the second by 6 points. Looking to close out this second set and earn a chance at their third sweep of the weekend. This Maryville team has pieced together a couple of sharp performances. 4-set losses to CSUN and UC Santa Barbara, two ranked teams out of the Big West. But Maryville playing heads held high against this Irvine squad with Micah Goss back there. He goes into the net. It's the 14th service error of the afternoon for UC Irvine.
That's right, but what you don't see from the service line, you do see from the attack line.
Yeah.
This is one
unbelievable.
UC Irvine.
The effectiveness on their attack has been sensational and almost video game numbers, you know. As you look at Jokanovic stepping in, tried to go deep to the corner and successful. The Saints just not on the same page to pick up a ball like that.
Right. I think there's some hesitation there. You see, but in a game like this, it's all bets off whose ball it is. We just got to go for it.
Well, here's William Darcy. Jake Usher hits the outside. Smoked home from Mackay Scott. Looks like UC Irvine running more of a 6-2 today than we've seen through the first couple of matches this weekend.
That's right. Shaking things up a bit. Getting touches for guys.
Costi, tapped antenna.
Only the second hitting error of the night. I want to say Niffen will be okay with that one, but I know he's very particular with a coach with an outstanding resume as that.
Yeah. I think all the mistakes, something to work on. Even
Right.
the good plays, there's something to improve in the mind of a great coach like David Niffen. You look up and down this roster, a whole heap of AVCA honorable mention honors, and that, that doesn't even scrape the barrel at who they lost from last year. Just three of the studs all throughout National Volleyball.
Sorry, talking about Hino.
Yep.
From last year, National Player of the Year.
And he had 255 aces to his career. That's tied for a career high among all players ever.
Yes.
Just having a guy like that, he's the National Player of the Year from last season. It makes a difference, having his leadership. And he leaves, start to ask, what's the identity of this program? But it looks like UC Irvine has found some more diamonds in the rough as they continue to build in the post-Hino era.
And it helps when you have, let's get a little baseball shot. That's one where you just laugh it off and hope for the best. So we see Niffen with the challenge call. I don't think he's going to get that one. It was worth a shot.
Set point, UC Irvine. Trevor Clark got the...
He's eyed in on playing collegiate volleyball, Division I men's volleyball here in the States. Essentially, you can make the argument that it's comparable to the pro leagues out there. And so for him to get the opportunity to be out here and be able to be as successful as he's been throughout the weekend today, especially, apart from that home run he had earlier from the service line, 6 of 10 from the attack, to add on with an ace, he's been phenomenal.
One of the youngest players out here as well, and Jokanovic has just made his mark early on through the first week of action for UC Irvine. Looks like they got another, and Jokanovic back there to get us going here in the third set. UC Irvine with a pair of wins through the first and second, 25-16, 25-18 respectively. Maryville trying to find something, so they switch up a couple of personnel, including Luke Martinez, the freshman blocker, who is on to start this third set. Georges Kouvaris is also in. Zach Clark handled on the serve. And it's the first kill of Martinez's career. Debut for Luke Martinez. That's a special moment.
That's got to be a big feeling, a good feeling for sure. He's still smiling from that one.
Yeah, he come off the bench. That's one that you remember forever. Give him the game ball, why don't you? Now here's Jake Usher. And it looks like Kouvaris got the net. Yeah, you got guys who are coming off the bench cold. It's difficult to get into a rhythm, and frankly, that's a lot of what volleyball is about. It's all tempo, it's all rhythm, more so than some of the other sports where, a guy can come off the bench and immediately make an impact. If you're not as warm in this sport in particular, it's tough to find that stride.
It is, and plenty of times coaches will tell you maybe we have 1 point before they're saying, get in the game,
yeah.
We need you to serve, need you to block. And so getting that nerves out, but when you get a guy that can do that consistently, of just turning it on, it helps the program tremendously.
I think it's a person And Scott, well over the block. He splits the seam to throw down a hammer.
Jake Usher holding that middle. Trevor Clark able to give Makai Scott. That's what you want. You want to be able to give your pins a one-on-one situation, or at least a spot to where that middle is slowly creeping.
Just a little bit long. Haven't seen an ace from Maryville today. Looked like that one nearly dropped home for Ethan Tran. White Mountain to serve, receive. Tran outside to Scott. There's no stopping him.
Makai Scott with the kill there.
Oh, soloed by Roboto. A light bulb just went off. Maryville has found something.
That is going to get the crowd rocking for sure.
That puts an end to this scoring run, but Maryville retook the lead. You know, it's moments like that that shift a little bit of momentum as UC Irvine brings in the second leg of this 6-2 to try and slow down the Saints.
Yeah, look for Darcy to get a little bit more attention this time around. I'll be curious to see if Tumas is able to get Goss going after that stuff blocked by Roboto. Darcy there trying to bend the rules a little bit. Yeah.
I like the idea. If you're not cheating, you're not trying.
Right.
But Maryville back in front. Roboto back to the line. His first time in California. Maybe that's the case for a lot of these guys on the Saints. Really enjoying their time. Smart play from Jokanovic.
Very smart play, knowing that the middle is there serving, so he's back row. Middles, I know they get a bad rap. They aren't as fast as that libero.
Zach Clark yo-yos it high, but the ball falls short from Luke Martinez.
Just a little bit of a disconnect there. Ethan Tran on that set. Just a little low and off. But Jokanovic from the service line there.
White Mountain tried to cross. Same spot. There's Kiriakou. Darcy.
We talked about it. Darcy was going to get a little bit more attention. Sure enough, he goes with back-to-back attempts. Gets the job done there. Maryville should tune into that.
Home 3.
And with 12 ties, 5 lead changes, UC Irvine now, they hit the 20 mark. Let's see what they can do from an error standpoint. Cliche as well, but looking at within those last 5 points, how many errors are occurring between both teams. Typically, the team with less errors in the last 5 points typically gets the job done. Jokanovic there with the miss serve. Never want to miss a serve right after the timeout. Give that point to the coach.
So Jokanovic on the service error. It's the 18th of the evening for UC Irvine. Puts an end to a 4-0 scoring run. And Mike Oss just snuck it inside the line.
Luke Martinez just a tad late on that block. Trying to get up too high. We see Goss with the great back of the line kill. And that's what you're teaching your middles to do. Hit the back line where no one's at.
Anteaters need just 4 to win this thing outright.
And a beautiful set by Usher there on the run. Able to set behind him for the big. Makai Scott ready, as always.
Led his man, put it on the dot, and that's what Jake Usher can do. So good at the stuff you can't teach.
Right, as you see quite literally telling his teammates how they should be in defense.
Trevor Clark, all power and athleticism from the big body middle.
That's right. Can't really stop that, though, when he gets a solid connection there.
It was Micah Tomas, the setter, who left it for Clark. And again, we're looking at how the connections have started to develop for the setters for UC Irvine. Gotta imagine that'll be a storyline throughout the year for the Anteaters. Who is going to run their offense? Right now, they're getting success from all over the place. Yesterday, it was Aiden Schulten who ran the attack for UC Irvine. Cameron Costi and Micah Tomas along with Aiden Rigg today. So 3 different setters have really been all over the floor for your UCI. As for Maryville, they found something. They found a little lightning in a bottle a moment ago, and then Irvine came back to life. But when you saw the Saints go on a stretch like that, aside from momentum, what was working for them?
The big thing that was working for Maryville was limiting their errors. They served aggressively, but then also they keyed in on who UC Irvine was trying to go to. That's why UC Darcy back in. Niffin probably doesn't want this one to go any further past 3. Maryville looking to hold on. And then you see Usher going into his bag, still distributing the ball, but getting it to his playmakers like Makai Scott, like Robitou.
Well, that was stuck home. Kuvaris able to get it back into the donut hole after it looked like Jake Usher. That's maybe a game-saving play at that.
That is, and that's what's going to swing this game, is a play like that.
Martinez. What a smart joust on the outside from Kiriakou.
Those are always so tough to play because essentially that pin hitter has the favorability in that matchup, and as a blocker, you kind of have to play with it, toy with it a little bit to see where they're going to go and just try to pop that ball up as high as you can.
Robitou tried to crush it. It stays alive, sky high. Back to Makai Scott. He's denied, recycled through. Makai Scott again. Second time the charm. He rifled it out with the tool.
And a great high swing by Makai Scott. Great decision by Usher to go back to his mainstay right now. And Makai Scott trusting him.
Go right back to Makai Scott. He's had the success today, a match high 13 kills, hitting .348. Jokanovic, match point UCI.
Jokanovic will just not be denied. You can see the look on his face of determination.
Yeah. No doubt about it as UC Irvine looks to close it out in 3. Trevor Clark. Makai Scott kept alive by Kiriakou, and Micah Tomas shuts it down. Irvine blows out the candle. Anteaters win in 3 to go unbeaten to the A6 Invitational. 9 sets, 9 wins for number 6, UC Irvine. Maryville falls in their 3rd match this weekend to 0-3 to open up the 2026